Hello, guys. Welcome back to TFD again. All right, we've got to dive into some Phoenix Mercury talk, especially when it comes to DeWanna Bonner, because this is actually pretty interesting. So let's break down what's happening and whether the league is even going to step in. Now, we've got the head coach, the head coach, speaking out, and I was also going to mention the GM, but the focus here is on the coach. And trust me, the things he said about DeWanna Bonner and her journey to Phoenix, they're worth paying attention to. This isn't just your typical player joined a team story. The coach had some comments that really give insight into how the Mercury brought her on and how she's fitting into the team's bigger picture. And honestly, it raises the question, will the league take notice? Or is this just going to slide under the radar? We need to unpack this because what the coach said could have some real implications, both for DeWanna and for Phoenix's future.
Luckily, the last two off seasons, we've tried to get DB to come back to Phoenix, and so we've been able to build a relationship a little bit. Unfortunately, she didn't pick us twice. Third time was a charm. I think AT helped in that a little bit. I just wanting her to end her run, however, it's going to end, right? I mean, what a story for her to come back after playing here for 10 years. And you never know for sure how it's going to work, right? But we knew that we needed to add another veteran to our group for these situations. Obviously, you talked about it. We've had our rookies step up, but it amazes me when I re-listen to the games and all the things that she's done in the playoffs, the number of games, the threes, the points. It's she's one of the greatest playoff players ever, right? And so we would not be sitting here for a lot of reasons without her. Game 4 in Minnesota, hitting those 3 big threes. She couldn't hit a shot the first 3 games, and the bright lights don't scare her, and we're very lucky to have her.
Wow, did you hear all that? Outside of the obvious praise, third time's a charm, they've been chasing her hard. And they even mentioned twice that Alyssa Thomas played a role in making it happen. Now, before we move on, I want to highlight this first comment. Shout out to Holly Ceron, who wrote, "Sounds like Phoenix might need an investigation for unauthorized agreements or tampering. Players, coach, and the franchise should all face fines or some sort of restrictions." He posted this. The WNBA prohibits unauthorized agreements with players and tampering outside of official negotiation periods, with penalties including fines up to $1 million for violations. While the collective bargaining agreement, CBA, uses the term unauthorized agreements rather than tampering, the rules serve a similar purpose to the NBA's, preventing teams from engaging in premature negotiations or creating incentives for players to join a team outside the legal process. The Seattle Storm were fined in 2022 for an early re-signing announcement, setting a precedent for the
Ultimately, the Phoenix situation highlights why the WNBA's rules on unauthorized agreements and tampering exist, to protect fairness and maintain the integrity of the league. With past precedents like the Seattle Storm fine in 2022, it's clear that any violation, whether by players, coaches, or the franchise itself, carries serious consequences. The league will likely need to review this case closely, and if violations are confirmed, expect fines, restrictions, or other disciplinary measures to ensure the rules are enforced and the competitive balance remains intact.
And shout out first to the crazy drunk Canuck who said it loud and clear, went after her, but couldn't afford her, so concocted a plan to have her arrive mid-season on a vet minimum. You know it, I know it, everyone knows it. And honestly, that's exactly how a lot of people are starting to see this whole situation now. Let's break this down because there's more here than meets the eye. The first narrative a lot of people ran with was, oh, she got to Indiana and then she got all the love and support and things were great. That was the story they were trying to sell. You know, all that stuff about being embraced, being loved, all the feel-good vibes to make people feel bad for her. But the reality it looks completely different. She got to Indiana, couldn't play the way everyone expected, struggled to compete, lost her starting job to Lexi Hull, threw a fit, and forced her way out. And that's what makes DeWanna Bonner look, well, terrible in this situation. Now, that's just one perspective, but there's another narrative that's gaining traction, and this one actually makes a lot of sense. Apologies for the voice, by the way, it's been a long day, but let's dig in. Here's what seems to be going on, and this is exactly what Nate was hinting at. They wanted her in Phoenix, she wanted to go to Phoenix, but the money wasn't going to line up at the time. Here's the WNBA nuance you need to understand. As the season goes along, as games happen, money comes off the cap. So, teams can get creative with timing and finances. What they seemingly did was this. Okay, we can't bring her here right now, but let's have her go to Indiana, sign there, play there, and pretend she's happy. We'll let her play out the start of the season, and we'll manufacture a reason for her to want to trade once we've got the cap space and money lined up for Phoenix. Then boom, she comes to Phoenix. And honestly, if you watch what DeWanna Bonner has said about why she was unhappy in Indiana versus why she's so happy in Phoenix, it's a complete lie. A total lie. Let me repeat that. Complete and total lie. She was fully embraced by Indiana fans, loved, adored, and I've shown clips before. When Caitlin Clark made those free throws to get her third all-time milestone, the crowd went wild. Fans were buying her jerseys, asking for autographs, and all kinds of love being thrown her way. It wasn't like she was being ignored or mistreated. So here's the point I'm driving at. Cathy Engelbert, WNBA, it's time for an investigation. This isn't unprecedented either. Remember the Las Vegas Aces and the Chamber of Commerce thing with paying players? There were also issues in New York. And while I'm not claiming every case was 100% proven, it's clear the league has dealt with tampering and cap manipulation before. And now think about this. The WNBA even launched a full-scale investigation into Indiana Fever fans based on a complete lie. No proof, just a claim. Remember Game 1 and the Angel Reese situation? Players like Alyssa Thomas backed her up publicly, and yet there was no real evidence. But the league still went full throttle investigating a fan base over nothing. Now compare that to this situation. We're talking about actual emotional manipulation, tampering, and a scheme to get a player to a specific team. Way more serious than a fan allegedly hurting a player's feelings with words. And yet, there's no investigation, no accountability. This is the perfect opportunity for the league to act like a professional sports organization for once. Here's what needs to happen. WNBA, I don't care what it takes, launch a full investigation into the Phoenix Mercury. Look at communications, talk to Alyssa Thomas, get phone records if you have to, find out what conversations happened between her and DeWanna Bonner, and what the Mercury had to do with it. Because make no mistake, once Bonner was signed, the Mercury wasn't calling her directly, they were working through intermediaries. And Alyssa Thomas is a key link. And let's not forget the emotional angle. DeWanna Bonner, supposedly away for personal reasons, gets a flood of love and support from Indiana fans who are genuinely concerned for her well-being. Everyone praying for her, hoping she's okay, sending well wishes. And she's using that as part of a larger scheme? That is straight up disgusting. Emotional manipulation at its finest. It's despicable. Meanwhile, the Fever, their coaches, Stephanie White, the whole environment, they should have seen this coming, at least as a possibility. Whether she was involved or not, anyone with experience in the league should know something like this could happen. Yet here we are, seeing fans being manipulated emotionally, a narrative being twisted, and the league seemingly doing nothing. So here's my call to action. Cathy Engelbert, WNBA leadership, it's on you. Investigate Phoenix Mercury for tampering. Investigate the communications. Investigate the actions that led to Bonner being unhappy in Indiana. If you find proof, punish them. Period. That's how you maintain integrity. That's how you earn respect in professional sports. And to the fans watching, let's be honest, this is bigger than just one player, one team, or one incident. It's about the credibility of the league. It's about fairness, transparency, and making sure the WNBA isn't seen as a playground for manipulation. Launching this investigation could be a step towards actually acting like a professional sports organization instead of what many people currently see it as. Finally, let's wrap this up with perspective. This isn't just drama for drama's sake. This isn't gossip. This is about accountability, the integrity of the sport, and protecting players and fans from schemes that exploit them emotionally and financially. DeWanna Bonner may have played her hand, but the league has the power to respond properly. So, WNBA, Kathy Embelbert, this is your moment. Step up, do the investigation, follow the facts wherever they lead, and if the Phoenix Mercury tampered, enforce consequences. Period. That's how you maintain integrity. That's how you earn respect in professional sports. And to everyone out there watching this video, I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole situation, about the manipulation, and what you think the league should do. Don't forget, smash that like button if you want more updates like this, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of these breaking stories, because the WNBA offseason just got a lot more interesting. And trust me, this isn't going away anytime soon.